How should we intro this thing?
How we usually do.
We'll come up with something like John Wick.
Okay.
Any suggestions?
Mm-mm.
Hi, welcome to Film Stash. My name is Douglas Campbell.
And my name is Stephanie Hitt. Look, Grandma, I'm wearing my ring. It was really important to her last time.
She was leaving comments in the videos leading up to the Ballerina. We're continuing our journey today into the Wickiverse.
Prepare for war.
What language is that in?
Probably Russian.
Probably. If it's Russian, future Doug will let me know. So what are your opening thoughts? What do you think about John Wick 3?
Like all the John Wicks.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not my favorite. Makes me angry more than the rest of them.
Yeah, well, we know about that.
No, I don't know what it is about this movie, but I have a hard time looking deeper into it. Because, the first two, the first one especially, I'm able to, actually, pick up on, the symbolism and the, the deeper, undertones and stuff. But for some reason with this movie, every time I watch it, all I can do is, surface level. All my comments and everything, all my thoughts and feelings on it are very surface level. So anything that you're going to say that is anything deeper, I'm going to be like, wow.
I really enjoyed John Wick Chapter 3. In a way, I feel like this movie was how in Harry Potter they split the final movie into two parts? I feel like part 2 was just the build-up. And part 3 is all the payoff. It is kind of hard to critique this movie because it is all action. This is just all the boom boom fighting, This is sort of a thing going through these movies. We're kind of retreading a lot of the same water. All this action is great. All this lighting is awesome, because of course these movies just get better and better with that. But at the end of the day, they do have those same merits. So it's kind of hard to try to go anywhere different and try to make it more informative. I think that opening stretch, that opening 30-ish minutes, is my favorite part of the whole movie.
It's running around trying to get his shit together.
Yeah. The whole thing I thought was just very spectacularly done. I hope that woman who was doing the narration got paid. She really made it tense, just the countdown. John Wick, excommunicado, 30 minutes.
She didn't have an accent.
Did she not?
No, she didn't have an accent.
I thought she did.
No.
Whenever, John's in the library and he, brutally fights the giant, it gave me, weird, Princess Bride vibes. It's, very humorous, Because he's getting just, flung around and it's we're in a library.
Yeah, this has a lot more hand-to-hand, I feel. And there's a lot more than just, pew-pew.
There's, gun foo, there's car foo. They introduced us to horse foo. That was fun.
That part always makes me chuckle. I've always loved the part where he gets the horses kicking the guys. And I also do love that the guys don't try to hurt the horses. I think that's really nice. They just respect the horses.
We're a horse household here.
Doug's a horse girly, guys. When they're in the library, too, the reason he went to the library was to get, his super D-Day emergency kit, bare essentials. It's telling of how desperate he is right now.
It's kind of telling too what you were saying, how he kind of always knew in the back of his mind that he would never be able to truly leave that life behind, that he would have to have something like that. It's very subtle storytelling. The fact that this exists.
He knew something, he knew it wasn't going to be super easy. At least he still has a picture of Helen.
Isn't just John Wick versus this one guy or the Russian mob. It's John Wick versus the world here.
And it really is.
Well, this one expanded the world so much more. You get introduced to more of the high table. We'll get to that later with you misogynist. In the previous film, it was all about Italy and Rome, and it had the aesthetic of those places. But this one I thought was interesting. It had a lot of Middle Eastern imagery and aesthetics, and it really expanded the world out.
That desert was gorgeous. You put it in my mouth.
We get all these different factions going against John. You never get a moment of rest. And I think that works for and slightly against it later on, but we'll get to that.
Do you think it is really cool how they expand on it and have all the different people suddenly coming out of the woodwork who are part of this world? The people are even going against each other. The guy with the bald one with all the swords.
Zero.
That's his name?
I think
Okay.
so, yeah.
Zero. His guys are killing the people who are going after John because they're like, nah, you're ours. And then the reason that Zero is waiting, like trying to fight John Wick is just because he's in love with him.
He's a fanboy, yeah.
And then he's like, John Wick. John Wick. And I'm like, this is so cute, you know?
And I thought he fanboyed a little too much. It was
Agree.
fun at first, but then it just, as time went on and it's like the final battle and he's still fanboying, it's kind of like, okay, come on, guys. These movies, like, you know how I feel. I feel like they're not the best written because they're just vehicles for action. I
The
feel
first one wasn't, though. The first one was very well written.
The first one really was written just for action.
But it had like actual plot to it. I mean, this one actually has plot to it, but this one is definitely like, people are here for action. We're gonna get. They turn off the lights in the Continental, and all of a sudden they have neon green lights everywhere. You cannot tell me that's not built for action.
No, I'm not saying that. I just mean this film, I feel like it's all just the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for John breaking the rules necessarily, but him like coming face to face with his years of wrongdoing over time. To kind of have the whole movie basically be about John trying and kind of failing to atone for that. For as silly as this whole premise has been, I thought it was like pretty well written, and you do see the ripple effects. Yeah, you see the ripple effects of like even people agreeing to help John even a little bit. Actions have consequences.
When will you learn? When will you guys learn that your actions have consequences?
We have a new installment in this week's Steph is a Misogynist.
Stop. Don't even turn it into that.
Steph is a Misogynist.
The adjudicator literally, like, if they had a line where the adjudicator says, "Hi, I'm here to be a bitch," I would not have been surprised, because that is exactly what they built the character for. They purposely make the adjudicator unlikable. Don't act like it's me. It's not a me problem. I actually did write in my notes. I was like, this doesn't help my case much with Doug's whole Stephanie hates women thing that he's doing. He doesn't just do this for the video, guys. He talks about this like daily. Oh yeah, we gotta film the review, and Doug's like, yeah, because you hate women. Like,
don't just bring it up out of nowhere just whenever you hate women. I get what you're saying, because I agree. No, she is written to be unlikable, but the thing is, like, she's just doing her job, really.
Okay, but she doesn't have to be such a cunt about it.
But here's the thing, like, so many people broke the rules, and now it's like, okay, look, we gotta get this straight, otherwise, like, everything's gonna go out of whack.
She's just being an ass.
She was doing her job.
She's just going around to be an ass.
I agree. She's very annoying because I'm siding with John this entire thing, but, like, she's doing her job. I think the reason why a lot of people don't like her is because, like, she is the physical embodiment of consequences. Because, you know, she is a representative of, like, I guess, law and order and the blind eye of justice, you know? It doesn't matter the origin story, you still broke the rules, you know what I mean?
I like women, guys. Look, I like a woman in a movie. I like Halle Berry. I liked her character in the film. I think it would be really neat if we got to see, like, a spin-off movie or something like that. John had to come hide her daughter from her. You know, like, I would like to see the role he played in Halle Berry's story.
I feel like that's what we're gonna get a lot of, starting with the Ballerina. I wouldn't mind that, like, they just have, like, these solo action movies that are in the world, but they stand on their own. Then he shows up, and it's like, oh, you know?
Yeah.
We'll go a little bit into, like, my main critique. I don't know. I felt like the action, like, slightly overstayed its welcome in the third act. The fight scene at the deconsecrated Continental at the end, like, it is so badass and cool, but, like, in a movie where we had, like, a bunch of fighting leading up to it with hardly, like, a room to breathe, like, it could have been cut down a little bit, because then you have the fight immediately after with, like, Zero and his guys. Like, it slightly overstays its welcome a little bit. Now, granted, like I said, all these things are cool. I don't want to say this, I don't want to feel this, but it's just kind of like, after a while when you watch this, it kind of like, you get a little numb to it.
I understand what you mean a little bit.
And I know this too because I saw you taking notes during a lot of the fight scenes with Zero at the very end. So I know that I'm right.
There are parts with the action that I noticed that kind of bug me. For example, they do the thing where he's fighting like 5 people at one time. While he's fighting one, the other guys are like laying off to the side, like, he punches them, they fall down, and then they're like,
kind of waiting around.
yeah, Yeah, like he would be so dead by now.
Yeah, I was thinking like how they were beating the crap out of John, like with the crystal skull exhibit. They just kept tossing him into things. If you guys got him at the same time, he'd be dead.
These movies slowly get more and more unrealistic. Not to say that they're realistic in any way anyways. Like, I was thinking I would like to see one of those videos where like a doctor or somebody goes through and watches it and like counts how many times the person would actually be dead.
Despite like those couple little nitpicks that kind of bugged me, I do think that this film was a pretty solid improvement over John Wick 2. I was like way more invested in this than the previous one, and there's just a lot more that it's building up to, which I thought was like really great. I would give it like an 8 out of 10.
I think it was a very good movie, but I wouldn't call it better than number 2. I think number 2 was a little, like, it took itself a little more seriously. Like, I mean, I do enjoy the movie. Don't get me wrong. I love this movie, guys. I love all the John Wick movies. I would give this one a 7 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah.
A step down for you.
It's not my favorite. Like I said, if I'm like, oh, I'm in the mood to watch John Wick, it's not usually the third one. I mean, usually I always watch the first one when I'm in the mood to watch John Wick, especially The Adjudicator. Oh my God, I don't want to watch this movie because of her half the time. When you told me that I needed to watch this, I was like, God, I gotta watch that fucking thing.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm almost at my mid-year goal of 350 subscribers. Any help that you've given me so far, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. That's all the time we have for today here on Film Stash. My name is Douglas Campbell.
And my name is Stephanie Hitt.
And if you excuse us, we're gonna add to the stash.